Vie, vi, vo, fum? What is it,
We sp-
Nat?
we speak English here, Jess. It's Vi. It's
Brother, I struggle with the most basic of life's tasks, including speaking. So,
I definitely speak to folks in Europe who are immediately just like V.dev. I say
they're like, no.
also a word in English. We chose it because I mean the dictionary term we think is very apropos for crypto, which is advised to compete, to strive, and that's what we're all doing here, right? Especially in
it's
the octagon that you
it's
guys
funny.
have
If I was
created.
going to type that up, I would have to go and probably Google it just to make sure that I'm spelling it right, because it's one of those words where I'm like, is that actually
I
right?
actually don't think that's how I would have spelled it.
No,
The octagon.
exactly
So
my point.
Yeah,
All right, man. Well, I mean, we've had you on a long time ago talking about Highlight. Looks like
yep.
you're still previous
Highlight is
product
still
still rocking and rolling. Okay.
Highlight is still rocking and rolling. I mean, I don't know if you guys have a gong on the show, but we're a million in revenue, not ARR because it's transactional, but still chugging along despite the death of NFTs. We have with Highlights probably like the most extensive NFT creation platform in existence. So we're happy about that. But I'm here to talk about Vi.dev.
Yes.
Yes.
What?
What is it?
What is it?
Vi is very simply, it's vibe coding for crypto. And so what that means is you can type and just build any type of blockchain centric application in seconds or minutes. And if you've built software, if you use a tool like Lovable or you've used a tool like Replit or V0, you know the magic that LLMs bring to building software. They can now just interpret your intent. You can get to a working prototype pretty well. But we built Vi because a few reasons. I think there's like the vision, which I'm excited to talk about and tell you guys kind of where it's going. But the practical reality is in building Highlight, we spent a ton of time creating tools for NFTs, designing user interfaces that just had some linkage with the blockchain. So a certain type of sale mechanic, someone wants to have a art project with certain dynamics, how it's updated, etc. And building custom user interfaces for a couple of years taught us that we were never going to build enough interfaces to cover like every use case. And then we started to play with LLMs and we realized you just don't have to do that anymore. And the beautiful thing with blockchains and with protocols that I think is really interesting and unique when it comes to this idea of vibe coding is that if you have an idea for a project, you can use data, you can reference the social graph that other people have used. And so the whole vision of composability and interoperability, which is one of the key things why I got into the space, is really real now with vibe coding. So I can talk about some use cases, but you just think about typing and being able to deploy tokens, prediction markets, portfolios, dashboards.
I mean, I'm doing one
Lots
right
of
now. I just logged
You're
in
doing it right
and
now.
yeah,
Okay.
created an app to provide liquidity to airdrome pools, and I'm watching it cook. Yeah, I mean, would love to get into the bigger vision here, but I'm also, I guess, the the weaknesses of LLMs and the risks of crypto seem to clash in a lot of these things. So I'm curious how you've navigated the sort of trustlessness and confidence in that side, the crypto side of things, with the
Yep.
limitations of current LLMs.
Yeah. So good question. Vi is not writing smart contracts, and so we're EVM based. So it's Solidity. We don't want anyone to think that they're going to be able to vibe code a protocol that's going to move millions of dollars or tokens around without any auditing or really without having like a professional protocol engineer in the loop. We're experimenting with that, and we think that as LLMs get better and better, and as we build more and more sort of like safety and guardrails around it, there is interesting potential there. But our observation was that we don't need LLMs to write protocols for people. There are a vast number of protocols. I think you guys just had like the Barachain guys on. We've got, it was L2 season, maybe this time last year. There are millions of smart contracts across Ethereum that people want to do stuff with. And I think our observation is that a lot of software in crypto kind of sucks. It's built quickly. It may not have the nicest interface or the interface that you want. And you have the ability with Vi to build software, remix any product. So there's an example. If you check out Vie.dev, you can see a great example. Someone just built an app like on top of Zora, for example. Totally different user interface on top of Zora. There's no risk around, are you deploying, are you moving money around and trusting an LLM to do that? No, but we think we're improving the quality of software and just the potential for anybody to get out there and build software in the space without having all like the technical background that they otherwise might need.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested in your bigger vision because I think we've seen a bunch of people kind of try this in different forms. Like O'Hara has taken the more social approach, Dev.Fund's taking kind of the launchpad approach. We have Remix doing the like TikTok for gaming. So what is kind of like,
Yeah.
are you conceptualizing the kind of broader platform opportunity?
Yeah, to be totally honest, we're exploring and experimenting. And so right now, Vi is very general purpose. You can build a prediction market, you could launch an NFT, but you could remix the Zora front end. And so we're thinking about the different directions we could take it. We can narrow it more in on one specific use case, if that makes sense. We could make it more technical. So like some of the stuff we were just talking about, if we wanted to have like LLM assisted protocol development, that's something we're thinking about. But the vision is really simple. Like the direction the product goes, we'll see. Like the market will decide. The vision is that crypto has always been about openness, but it has not been accessible, and we just think the opportunity to close that gap is pretty massive. And the goal it's not just faster development. It's like actually making permissionless creativity a real thing, because it has not been real up until now. And it's like the kind of like devs do something meme that has just like so permeated crypto is like there's devs, there's this like small group of magical humans called devs who can actually build stuff, and then there's everybody else. And we think that distinction should just totally collapse.
I mean, you guys build beautiful products, and I think my experience just sitting here watching this agent work here is a confirmation of that. You take a very opinionated approach to your UX. You let me just jump right in with just an email and get to the magic moment super quickly. You give me a whole bunch of like trending contracts, all these different things people have done. It looks great, man. It's still chugging along here, so we'll see what I get out from the end of this. But I am. I mean, you're stepping into two spaces here that I think there's a bunch of big open questions around. Like, what is like the right business model in crypto for this type of thing, and then ultimately, where does all this vibe coding go? It feels like there's a lot of folks that are doing this type of interaction in a specific niche. As Josh has said, that even broader outside of crypto. And many of them sort of have these really fast-growing ARR numbers that are sort of chasing hype with costs that kind of go alongside them as well. So I think it feels like you're pushing at an edge here that is, I don't know, fairly unique in the intersection of crypto and that vibe world. I mean, I'm curious if you just have like a broader comment on sort of the AI-assisted coding or vibe coding opportunity or space.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could decompose in a few ways. I think one of them is just that what we've seen is there's a massive amount of latent demand for software. So like, it seemed a couple of years ago we'd say, oh, there's there's so many apps. There's an app that does everything. There's a SaaS business that does everything, and then you realize that, well, no, there's this huge technical bottleneck where like the cost and the time involved in creating a piece of software was holding back thousands or maybe millions of ideas from being created. And so I think this like world of personal software that we're entering, where my phone screen shouldn't be,
Mm.
like 20 apps that never change, that are just these like simple utilities. Like, no, I should create half of the things on my phone home screen because they should do like specific things that are very niche and unique to me. They should have like a look and a feel and an interface that is really just like exactly what I'm looking for. And then simultaneously, you're right. Where there's AI and LLMs, which are like this huge new computing paradigm, and then there's blockchain, which is like the second major shift globally, where we have these like world computers now, where we can coordinate people, we can coordinate ideas, we can coordinate value. And as the world comes on chain, and as it becomes easier and easier to create all types of software, personal software, uh, business applications, et cetera. We think there's going to be a convergence between the two at some point. Practically speaking, so like who we see using the product, it's everyone from entrepreneurs in crypto who are trying to prototype an idea, and they can actually prototype an idea with a contract deployed on chain or by referencing someone else's chain or protocol, what have you. We see a lot of people who are just building things for fun. The dynamic in crypto with just like the speed of crypto Twitter, how fast the timeline moves. It's pretty cool that you can now actually build a game, a prediction market, uh, a meme, right? That's not just a static image, but something interactive. And you could do that in seconds or minutes using a tool like Vi. So yeah, we think lots of different directions where it can go, but it's really like we see these like two huge movements that are moving pretty fast, almost in parallel, not with like that much linkage up to this point, because I think are some risks that we've touched on,
Yeah.
but we think they're going to converge in interesting ways.
I mean, does this mean you're kind of bearish monolithic applications looking forward, and think the big opportunity is to build like the protocols that they all want to use, or where do you see the opportunity in this new world?
No, I mean, I'm definitely not bearish monolithic. Like ChatGPT is
Right.
going to be like maybe like the hyperscaler of our era. But I do think that there is going to be this like huge proliferation of applications that we're at the very very beginning of, right? Like the generation of kids in grade school who are like growing up with this stuff today, like
Yeah.
you're not going to design something in Figma. I mean, you might like vibe code something in Figma. They're also adopting this, right? You're going to have real live functioning interactive tools and applications in out of the box.
Yeah, it's so interesting to think where, like, what is the platform and what is the application? Because I think there's a number of teams that have launched recently. I've been playing one called Wabi, one called Poke, doing different things. It's sort of either digital systems or this like generative app creation. Gizmo's another one, and they all seem very limited by the platform. Like, I think your vision of my app should be generative and they should live on my phone feels like the right form factor for it, whereas opening an app to then go in and use an app feels like it isn't. So I'm just fascinated about sort of thinking through where the stuff lands. And I guess part of me also thinks that it's probably a new computing paradigm that actually really makes this stuff real. So like maybe glasses, maybe the real world, maybe the unbundling of applications from a device and into the digital physical space. Is it? I don't know.
Hmm.
I think it's intriguing.
For sure. I think there's another part of this too, like just thinking about, for example, within crypto, like everything happening with stable coins, and stable coins are moving super fast. I'm very bullish on stable coins over the next few years. But if you think about like just this idea of programmable money, um, money has never been programmable for almost anybody, and there's all kinds of reasons for that we can think through. But if you can imagine having some kind of niche business, and you need to invoice somebody on the other side of the world, or you want to split a bill between people in 5 countries, or you want to set up some kind of like savings fund for your kid with different types of tokens, or something like that. Using a tool like Vi, you can actually do that without having to be smart contract developer. And that's where we think, there's a lot of like interesting, I think interesting things as we hopefully start to see like billions of people start to get wallets and become comfortable with like tokens, either stable coins or other types of tokens.
I mean, I think one of the most interesting implications of this is like brands that kind of capture consumers' hearts, being able to serve them in just an expansive number of ways. Like I don't see a world where like the brands of the future aren't also banks and social networks and et cetera, because of this dynamic you're talking about.
I think you're right. I mean, I think there's like the the idea that like every company is a software company. Like you're right. There's like the old kind of analyst framework of like there's the tech industry and there's every other industry. It's like no, actually everybody is a software company. Everyone's in the tech industry now in 2025. And I think you're right, Josh, which is like in 10 years everyone's going to be a fintech in some ways.
Interesting. I know you've got a hard stop, so I don't know if there's anything else you want to say here to. I mean, it's open and available, and you can just go sign up and start playing around with it. So I don't know why you wouldn't go do that if you're listening right now. Definitely captured my attention. But yeah, what's the fine point that should get people in?
Yeah, Vie.dev, vie.dev. Go type in an idea for something you have on chain that you never thought you could build, and would love to hear your feedback and see what you create. But that's it.
Amazing, man.
Thanks.
I'm going to jump in there and well, I don't know. It's so funny now. I'm like, what the fuck do I actually want to make?
That's the hard part. That's the hard part. Yeah.
But again, I think we keep coming back to the sort of ChatGPT moment for me was like, oh, right, I just need to be aware of those moments where I would go, oh, that's interesting, and then just like move on. And instead of just moving on, saying, okay, actually, I can just hit this button and go infinitely deep into this subject. And so there's probably going to be a similar thing where I'm like, man, I really wish I could just do that. And Vie might be the solution to it. So
yeah, I'm happy to come back and I can talk through a bunch of different examples, but we're seeing emerging use cases that are actually really interesting, where people are saving a lot of like time and energy using Vi. So yeah, happy to talk more down the road.
Right on, brother.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for hopping
All
on.
right.
Cheers.
Peace,
See
man.
ya.